Hi, I'm James Vincent McMorrow, and you're watching Festi Live.
Nice to meet you here in the Paléo Festival.
Nice to meet you too.
This is your first time here. How do you know Switzerland?
How do I know it? I mean, I think this is maybe the third or fourth time that we've been to Switzerland. We were here for the Montage Jazz Festival a few years back with Arcade Fire. And done a couple of shows here in the past. I love it here. It's really good fun. The Jazz Festival was amazingly fun. It's very muddy, but it's not raining today, so that's fantastic. So shoes have gotten a bit wrecked, but I think it's going to be really good. I think the tent is small and really loud, so I hope it's a good show. I think it will be.
Yeah, we hope to. Your musical history is quite funny because you were a punk, a kind of punk guy, and finally you are now like a folk singer.
Yeah.
So can you explain what's happened in your mind?
Well, I mean, I was 16 and was angry and wanted to play really loud music, and then so I took up the drums and I used to play in sort of metal bands and sort of post-hardcore, quite loud, fast stuff. And then I wanted to be a songwriter and a singer, and I discovered soul music, and I sort of taught myself to be a soul singer, and I just discovered R&B music. And then I put out my first album and spent 6-7 months making it, and put it out with no money and no idea what was going to happen, and started playing live by myself with a guitar, and then all of a sudden I was a folk musician, which is a bit ridiculous because I had a guitar and a beard. I'm not a folk musician. I'm a singer-songwriter really at the beginning and ending of things. But it's all part of growing up. Like, I mean, I'm sure when you were 16, you listened to very different music to when you're 24, 25. I mean, it's the nature of music fans. I mean, and that's every musician is a music fan at their base, and then they find the thing that they want to do based on all the things that they've listened to over the years. So that was me. Like, I listened to a lot of stuff, and I love certain things from that heavy music that I listened to when I was a kid. And then I discovered hip hop, and I discovered things in that I loved, and I discovered all these different things, and it all finds a way into the music that I make. That's what it should do.
So maybe in the future you can change again. I
think so. I think that I make the music that I make. I add different instruments and I change based on what's moving me at that time. And I think that should be the freedom that's afforded to all musicians. My favorite musicians, I wouldn't define in any particular category. I think, yeah, you should be able to, and especially in this day and age, and it's 2014, and the differences between musical genres are so vague and so difficult to define. I mean, The National are one of the headliners here, and I'm a huge fan, and they use a lot of acoustic guitars on a lot of songs. I wouldn't call them a folk band, and they use a lot of like big loud guitar sounds. I wouldn't necessarily call them a rock band. I think that they're like a classic American band in 2014 making very modern music based on their experiences, and that's the beginning and ending of it. If they decided to put out an album that was just a drum machine and a keyboard, I would love it because the heart of the songs would still be there, I would hope. So I think that's what it should be.
So you love music with a big M.
I love music. Oh yeah, I mean I'm a music nerd. I mean I obsess over music, and I obsess over my own music as much as I obsess over other people's music, and that's what it should be. I think that that's how I wanted to. That's what brought me into music, is my wanting to understand how the people I love did what they did. Yeah.
So your success began on internet, like a lot on YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be possible, like maybe 15 years ago, to get also as much famous?
Yeah, I think so. I think it would. I think the music at the beginning and ending is what leads to success. I think there's a million different ways to get your music out there, but if your music isn't good, then who cares? I mean, there's a lot of musicians that spend all their time on YouTube recording covers of other people's songs, and maybe that gets you to a certain point. Like, I'm a music maker. I make music. I make albums. I believe in making albums, and I put them out, and there's avenues that are available to me that weren't available 15 years ago, but there were other avenues available 15 years ago. You know what I mean? It's all about context. So like, there's things that I have to do and that I do in order to make it possible for me to come here and play shows, and for order for me to go to America or Australia and play big shows. It's a global thing now. It's not just, you're in America and no one's ever heard of you. It's like I can put out a song tomorrow and people in 50, 60 countries will hear it, and that's a completely different landscape, so you have to adapt. But fundamentally, I'm still a songwriter that believes in making records, so I think there's always avenues to that.
Do you agree that your universe is like melancholic?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think that I was just talking about that before, that like there is the music that I love has an emotional resonance to it. It's emotional music. Like the word melancholy always has quite a sort of a downbeat idea about it. I grew up listening to Smashing Pumpkins and a lot of shoegazing music, and that was very melancholic. But that was like in the style of the music was inherent that it would be quite melancholic. And I feel like there's a lot of positive stuff in the music that I make. Obviously lyrically there's a lot of emotional resonance, and people tend to latch on to those things, and it should be light and dark is kind of what I'm trying to say. There should be shade to all the music that you make. Can't be all dark all the time. I think there has to be light elements to it too. So I'm a singer-songwriter, and within that is an emotional tag, and that's one I'm very, very happy with. But emotion, there's good emotions and bad emotions, you know what I mean? Like they're positive and negative, is what I'm trying to say.
But the melancholic music is not really used in the main media like radio or TV, but it's really famous now on YouTube, for example.
Yeah.
Do you think it is does it mean something for our generation?
I think the best thing about where we live now, where we exist, is that radio means a lot less than it used to. It used to be a monopoly. Like you'd have 30 acts that would succeed at radio, and everything else was just kind of like resigned to the also ran bin, and that meant that radio had to be 3 minutes 30, very up. You couldn't have.
Do you think our generation is more melancholic than?
No, I don't. I don't think so. I think that like the 60s and 70s was the birth of the singer-songwriter, and that was very introspective, very like sad. You listen to James Taylor, you listen to Carole King, listen to Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. It's very sad music. Like, Neil Young is one of the most melancholy dudes you'd ever meet, a complete genius, and very sad music. I think that's a universal thing through music is emotion, and emotion's not going to change. Like the things you're singing about are going to change. The way your music moves through the world is going to change. I think that there's, like I said at the beginning, there's a lot more avenues for music than there used to be before. But fundamentally, it's always, I think, until the end of time, that is going to be a huge part of music.
Melancholic a little bit.
Sorry?
Humans are melancholic.
New bands.
Humans, yeah.
New bands.
Humanity. Like not one generation.
Sorry that you said new bands. Sorry, I was like new bands. Humans.
It's not a generation.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that. I can only speak from my perspective. I feel happy a lot of the time. I feel sad sometimes, and music serves a specific purpose in both of those times in your life. Like, if you're not going to listen to Happy by Pharrell Williams when you're feeling sad, but it's an incredible song. And when you're feeling good, you're going to put it on and dance to it like no one's watching, because that's awesome. That's an amazing thing. When you're feeling a little bit more introspective and a bit sadder, there's other music there for you. That's what I said. Like, that's what music should do. It should be light and shade.
When we do quiet music, is there a too big stage for this kind of music?
Is there
because for a quiet, a little place, everybody loves little place for melancholic and quiet music. In a festival, do you have to change a little bit the show to adapt?
If you listen to my records, there's nothing quiet sonically about them. It's not me and a guitar. It's me and 200 tracks of music that I spent a year making. So there's nothing about what I do that is quiet. While the music is introspective in certain places, and there's certainly that sense between me and the audience that's very serious and very they want to hear. You'll watch it in a couple of hours time, perhaps. It's a big set. I like loud music. I've always liked loud music. I like loud sounds. So, and I fit my voice within that. And so I love festivals. I I love the feel of it. I love the idea of trying to win over new people. If there's new people in the audience, if like I've never done a festival really in Switzerland beyond Montreux, and the idea of coming back here and having an audience, some people who might know you, some people who won't, it's great. That's, you know, festivals are built for big loud music, and we make big loud music at the right times. Yeah.
All right. Can you speak about your inspiration?
My inspiration. I mean, I can speak about the fact that everything inspires me. I mean, I read an article recently, and I can't remember who said it, but the quote was, "Inspiration is for amateurs," which I thought was really good, because I don't have any specific inspiration. Like, I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking about making music. I'm not thinking about a tree that I saw yesterday that makes me want to make music. I'm thinking about the fact that I'm alive and I'm breathing, and that's all I need. So that's my inspiration, is the fact that I'm living.
Do you write a lot?
Yes, all the time. All the time. And especially nowadays, I mean, since I finished the second record, I've been constantly working, and I work with other artists quite a bit now. And it just means that I'm always making music, whether it be for me or for somebody else. I'm always thinking about it. So it's, I'm always working, always writing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tonight you are at the Paléo.
Yes.
What are your future projects?
Or my future projects? I mean, the summer's on us, and we're going to keep playing festivals up until September. And then we go back out on tour, October, November. I think we're back in Switzerland in October for a show, which will be cool, part of the European run. And then more writing. We'll be touring this new album probably by this time next year. I would expect that we'll still be touring and playing, because that's the nature of an album cycle. It takes a while you got to keep going and go back to new places. And every time we go back, there's a lot more people. So, you know, we finished up a US tour in April and May, and we're going to go back in November and going to play a much bigger tour, much more people. That's what happens. So my projects are play shows, write songs. That's it. And sleep, perhaps.
Cool.
Yeah.
So enjoy tonight.
Thank you very much, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.